Hello everyone, and welcome to this presentation on the Moon Connector project. This is a kickoff meeting and it will discuss the key aspects of the project. I'd like to welcome all the stakeholders to this project, and without further ado, we'll go ahead and discuss the project. So the project basically involves the design, development, and construction of a hyperloop between planet Earth and the Moon. So what this entails is the construction of an Earth port, a hyperloop connection, and a Moon port. So the project stakeholders will, the project is primarily headed by the Tesla group, and in order to implement this project, we have formed a special purpose vehicle, which is basically a joint venture, if you like, that will include Tesla, Atkins as the chief designer, Peas in a Pod as the fabricator and constructor of the pods, and Space Constructors, who will build the Moon port, Earth port, and the Hyperloop. Also involved as stakeholders in this meeting are the World Space Organization and the United States Space Travel Agency. They will be regulating the project and assisting us with key permitting requirements. They will also be providing us guidelines regarding standards that need to be followed for the project. So going back to the project introduction, and the primary aspects are the design and construction of the Moon port and Earth port, and also the Hyperloop connector. And progress on this will take place starting with the design phase. During this time, we will also be building a prototype for the pods. Thereafter, once the manufacture of pods is underway, there will also be a testing loop that will be built in the Mojave Desert. Also included in the project is establishing a base in the Mojave Desert for the Earth port. At its peak, the project will employ about 5,000 workers and approximately 2,000 designers. So a project of this scale ideally employs a lot more people, but what we have done is we have tried to economize on the production and optimize the use of resources. So a lot of it will also be mechanized and automated, and manufacture will also be done with the assistance of robots. So this slide will give you an overview of the permitting process. So a project of this nature, being the first of its kind, offers a lot of permitting challenges. So on the one hand, we have permits that need to be secured from local agencies, and this is fairly straightforward, but at the same time complicated because of the new nature of the project. So what this includes is dealing with local government bodies, so that is the Mojave Association, and the local governments such as the county administration and the state government. And this involves securing construction permits and that sort of thing. We will also need approvals for the pods and other sophisticated systems, such as the launching system of the pod. And this will primarily be obtained from ANSI, which is American National Standards Institute. And what happens here is that since this equipment will be used to transport people, we need to ensure that they adhere to the highest quality and standards of safety. So to assist us in this process, ANSI will also participate in establishing the codes. You have to realize that this is a new project, a novel project, and due to that a lot of the standards are not in place. So the project team, along with our design lead Atkins, will focus on establishing quality requirements for the project. So as far as regulation is concerned, the World Space Organization and United States Space Travel Agency will serve as regulatory organizations, and this is primarily to ensure that any conflicts with other nations and other competitors with regard to zones and right of way from Earth to the moon will be secured without any conflict. So here are a few technical details of the project. So the moon connector will link Earth to moon using high strength synthetic materials. All of this is, of course, as you can imagine, confidential, but basically involves material that is flexible, but at the same time is also high strength. And the next key aspect of the project will be the moon port. So as you can imagine, with the Earth, rotating around revolving around its axis and across the sun, we have to ensure that there is no looping, because what happens is that the moon moves in one direction and the Earth moves in another direction. So the moon port will actually be a few miles from the moon and not on the surface of the moon. And what will happen after that is people will land at the moon port, and then they will be transported by special vehicles to the moon. So the Earth port will include the design and construction of the terminal and associated facilities, and the key aspect here is the construction of the launch pad, and these launching facilities will be very, very critical, because they'll be having a lot of high force to project the pods to the moon. The pods are similar to the Hyperloop pods, but with higher specifications to withstand space load. So you can expect the employment of high strength materials. So here is an overview of the financing sources and for the project. So what the project cost at this point is undisclosed, and so 34% of the project will be contributed by Elon Musk, and he is the primary investor and the majority stakeholder. And two special investment groups in the form of Space Ventures and Strategic Travels will provide a lot of the other funding, and Strategic Travels will also be responsible for promoting the venture. Virgin Galactic will take care of operations, as they already have experience in space travel. So here are some revenue projections for the project over the next 40 years, and as you can see, even in the worst case scenario, we still make more money than lose money. So from the first 0 to 10 years, you can see the the factors. What you see on the y-axis are the factors of growth, and how much the project will make as opposed to lose. So what's the future outlook for space project? So after the first 10 years, we plan to build amusement parks on the moon, and initially it will just be when people go to the moon, they will just walk around and there won't be much to see in terms of built environment. But as we get established, we'll establish set up an amusement park and casinos and resorts, and there already is a company in the US that through which you can buy properties on the moon, and they're already offering sale deeds. So we want to take this further, and we're also exploring the possibility of a hyperloop to Mars, and there is interest from individuals who want to travel to Mars for for a long weekend, so to say. And we are exploring this possibility, and we are doing preliminary studies for revenue projection, and maybe this will be something that we will implement in the future. So thank you very much for your attention, and would like to know if there are any questions, so feel free to contact me. Thank you.